There we go. There we go. Welcome everybody. I'm glad to be back. Hope everybody's New Year's and Christmas time was nice and wonderful, and everybody had a good time. Break away from crypto. I had a little trouble connecting just now, so give us a moment. We'll have the caller, the project ready on, and start calling out this AMA here in a minute. I'm just excited, man. It's 2024. I hope you guys are all excited. The movement and the market looks good. Just the sentiment overall is freaking really exciting. So much stuff going on. I can't wait to really dig deeper into it all. But yeah, let's go, guys. I hope everybody's having a great time. So it looks like we have our speaker here. How you doing there?
I'm doing great. Thank you so very much for having us. My name is Sammy Del Rio or Samuel Del Rio. I appreciate you guys so very much giving us the opportunity to chat. Actually, I think there's like a crazy feedback. Um, if you don't mind muting.
Yeah, I just noticed it myself. Sorry. Yeah, my Bluetooth headset sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. I think that was what was going on. So yeah, I just disconnected and I'll make sure to mute as we talk.
Awesome, no stress. No, yeah, I was just saying thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to be up here with you all. Happy New Year, 2024. As you mentioned, lots of beautiful things already arising with the market. So let's get after it. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity, guys. Thanks.
Oh, well, thank you for coming. Really, ultimately, us in the community, we like it when really great projects come along. So, that's what we love about these AMAs is we get to really just deep dive not only the project but the passion behind it from the team. That's why you get posts and you get calls on channels that and on Twitter, but you don't really get a good in depth call on a team until you have a good AMA. And here at Crypto Miners, man, there's no better place to have it. So, like we say, without further ado, right? Crypto miners, buckle up because today we're going to be deep diving in the future of data and how secure you can keep and monetize your own personal, I would say, data. Basically, I mean everything you do is data in a certain aspect these days, at least in the digital world. So we're introducing Powerloom protocol. From the research I did, obviously I had about 5 or 6 days to be able to really deep dive into it. But even then, I was actually kind of blown away with the level of professional tech and write up and everything. So I'm just super excited to be able to deep dive into it today with you because I think that even though I always say read the socials, jump into their website and read their tokenomics and their white papers and everything, when you deep dive into yours, it's an in-depth read. So be prepared. Have your questions ready if you guys are looking to ask some questions towards the end of this. Have them ready. But there's a lot of meat to this project. There's some really fascinating stuff that they're building and already built, and so I'm just excited to deep dive into it. So without further ado, go ahead with a little overview. Tell us a little bit about what Powerloom Protocol is. I think we lost him. Give me a moment. Looks like he requested. I'll get him back up. I was just rambling on, not paying attention.
Second there, but I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Did you hear me?
Wonderful.
My question? Did you hear my question at least?
Yeah, about telling everybody about what we're up to at Powerloom and everything that we've been
Perfect.
building over the last few years. Actually, I think for the most part, many aren't familiar, but Powerloom in general and our founders, both Anumit and Swaroop, they've been working on this project very quietly since 2021. We have had an incredible couple of years, 2.5 years of really building tech, something that oftentimes look at my, so I mentioned my name and who I am, but something I didn't mention is kind of my background. I've been in, first and foremost, I've been in music all of my life. I kind of grew up in that world, and it wasn't until by accident in 2016, late 2016, that I got into crypto. It was Bitcoin, specifically in mining Bitcoin on a large scale. We built, myself and some partners independently, bought some land here in Mojave, California, to set up a mine to mine Bitcoin utilizing only renewable energies. Why any of this stuff is important to this conversation today is because I've seen the cycles from 2016, late 2016 to today. I've seen the trends go back and forth in interesting ways. And by no means am I some like super OG crypto cypherpunk by any means, but I'm someone that has been able to be available and willing to participate in this world that we're building in for the last 7 years. And it's been really interesting because the trends from what we see today and what we hear people talking about and what they're doing aren't necessarily exactly what is happening. We're building in Web3. We're building decentralized applications, or meant to be building decentralized applications. And I think it's exciting for so many projects to be able to go out there and build and create these moments. But what Anamid and Swaroop have spent diligently over the last 3 years doing is building out a data layer protocol that enables true decentralization from the ground up. A lot of the companies that we know and love and have had great success have done a great job building out their networks and building out their brands, building out everything. But the reality is a lot of the times these networks aren't necessarily as decentralized as they say. So what happens with that? Sometimes the information is incorrect. We're talking about on-chain data. This information lives already on the blockchain. Once that transaction was done, once that action was made, once that interaction was made that was all meant to be on-chain, it's there. So why wouldn't we be going through the source to get that information? So for the last 2.5 years, Anamit and Swaroop have been building, like I said, diligently this protocol where what leads us to where we are today. It was just 2-3 guys, and then Akshay, our lead engineer, 2-3 guys that were kind of just creating this. And then we did ETH India last year, did ETH India this year, and a much larger scale. I'm here in Venice, California. Anamit is in right outside Bangalore. Much of our team is India, and then we have three individuals in Vancouver. Swaroop, our founders in Vancouver, our CMOs in Vancouver. We have some lead tech engineers in Arizona and Ohio. So we're kind of global. We're all over the place, and we have an extended team in Dubai. Why all of this stuff is pertinent is because of like where we are at today. We went to ETH India this last year. As I mentioned, this is the second time around. And why this is so important is because we got a chance to do and participate in a hackathon. And at ETH India this year, for many of you that may or may not know, I mean, this was my first time going there, and I didn't really know what to expect. So for many of you that have gotten the opportunity to go to India or may have not gotten to go to India for any of these conferences, it was incredible to see the excitement and like how huge it was. There was literally 2,000 hackers at ETH India ready to, deploy and build. And it is, quite a sight to see, I would have to say, because, I've been going to these conferences here in the States and overseas as well, some pretty large ones in Taipei. I went to the Blockchain Summit in Taipei, and but 2,000 hackers in a room really kind of like sets a whole different kind of tone. And it kind of also correlates with, I think, some of the sentiment that Vitalik was mentioning earlier this last couple of weeks, where like, let's get back to the cypherpunk world of like building and true decentralization. There's reason for this, and there's reason why it matters. And so we're really excited for this year to be able to kind of launch into the public the opportunities for regular people, participants that are here in Web3, builders, developers to engage in Powerloom and utilize our protocol for their data needs.
Well, I got a couple things I want to touch on there. That's freaking exciting. It's hella cool that I got another California native here. I'm a California boy myself. I'm here in Cali talking to you, so we're both not that far from each other, and I have a lot of family down there in LA. So it's just really cool to have somebody local, working in the United States, working on a project. I don't know. It's cool. It's the whole global thing that we were talking about, but it really. I don't see too many people from the U.S. working in them, and so it's just really cool. And I was actually going to comment on your 7 years in the industry. I was going to say, man, you've been through the trends, and you're talking about. You were there for infrastructure, you were there for utility, the meme, everything. So that's pretty cool to just to have that kind of background in crypto, because like you're saying, you might not be one of the savviest and one of those market maker people out there, but you've been in it, you've seen it, you understand it. and you've kind of weathered it. And like I always say, if you haven't been able to weather at least one bear, you don't deserve the bull. And you've obviously weathered a few yourself, so that's awesome. Just a good little kudos to you for right there, because a lot of people can't make it that long. I know that a lot of my friends, they made it through one bear, got into the bull, and they just couldn't make it through the next one, and they're no longer here. But that being said, that's kind of how we're trying to change the aspect, right? We want trying to make as we build and change kind of the mentality back to building utility, building infrastructure, building growth, the real meat of what crypto's foundation is going to be when we move it to the web 2, Web 3 kind of conversion. And I see your hand up, but I just wanted to just kind of give you kudos on that, and I really do appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you so very much, man. That means the world to me. And I'm also very happy to hear that you're a fellow California native over here. I'm actually originally from Chicago, but made my way west. Actually, the reason I was raising my hand, my friend, is because it's your mic is quite low. Like we can't really, I think I'm getting a lot of people letting me know that they can't hear you very well.
I appreciate it. Yeah. No, it must have been the angle I had my phone. I hate not using my Bluetooth because it's so good, but yeah, no, I appreciate it. So yeah, no, basically I was just saying it's just really cool to see, projects and companies really come back to the root of what crypto needs, and that's the foundation of the infrastructure. Without proper infrastructure foundation, it's hard to really achieve scalability, especially in the user base. And for retail too, Web2 retail is going to be a huge come this next bull, and without I would say without that proper infrastructure, there's going to be a lot of headaches for people. And so that was just kind of kudos onto what you're building, and just kind of get into a little bit more of what some of my questions are, or my comments basically, and research I've done. And I see that you are setting it up to be builder centric. You're looking for opportunities to bring builders in. So let's talk a little bit about what if there is somebody here interested in building, or if they know a builder, what kind of ways would they access it, or what are the requirements in order to build on your network?
Well, again, thank you for everything that all the kind words that you were saying about what we've been building here, and we're putting a lot of effort into that. I mean, and this is something that I found very important when I was deciding to come and be a part of building this with this team, was because a lot of founders, when they get funding, they go off and they do build, but the money evaluations are crazy. They're huge, lots of money coming in, lots of money going out. And what I appreciate so very much about everything that these guys have been doing is it's been thoughtful. It's been really, these guys have unbelievable brains, and they come from quite the background themselves. They were also part of Swarup was part of the original Matic team. And so like there's a lot of deep connection to everything that is going on and has been going on chain, and also just because they've been able to see in various manners like the issues that some of these data providers are having, right? And I mean, I guess, and really to answer your question in simple terms, Powerloom is offering an infrastructure that can power data requirements for many emerging applications in Web3, right? It does function better than its peers through two core tenants. Firstly, through bootstrapping a network of nodes and snapshotters, they're going to be responsible for sourcing and passing on the data. Secondly, through offering simple use of APIs and dashboards that actually visualize the consensus around the accuracy of the blockchain, that makes a huge difference for anyone that's building and wanting to build data-based applications, right? I mean, for many of these, let's call it marketplaces, let's call it marketplaces, exchanges, DeFi protocols, anyone that has a potential dashboard in their website for both their front end or back end that are requiring to get on-chain data. Musicians that are purchasing their records or selling their records as NFTs and want to understand, how many of their holders are participating, and are actually engaged on their being able to utilize Powerloom as a protocol to build those web-based apps is something that is completely essential and also going to be happening. Something that also makes it really exciting for us is that for a lot of any of these protocols, even Ethereum, right, to be able to even be engaged in the actual layer of the protocol layer, you have to spend a lot of money if you want to have like some real stake in it. So for instance, a validator on ETH, you need 32 ETH. If you want to be a validator on the graph, you need almost $200,000. It's not attainable for a normal human, like a normal human that's not in crypto, to be able to participate in this stuff. And remember what I was talking about before is like the promise of much of what we're talking, like what we're building in this space, is the ability for anyone with a cell phone, with or without ID, to be able to engage and participate without permission, right? Like that's one of the biggest beautiful things that this technology enables. So let's continue to enable and give opportunity to builders, to speculators, to creators, to people that want to like learn about data, people that are interested in buying NFTs, and then also using the NFT as a vehicle pass to maybe run a node, right? Like there's so much stuff that can come from being a data protocol, like what Powerloom is doing, and enabling for other builders to continue to look at Powerloom as a source to be able to do those exciting types of projects that will enable people to have data rich info.
I totally agree. Actually, it wasn't until I really deep dived into crypto and the whole world of crypto that I realized that data and accurate data acquisition is actually a painful process. There's a lot of people like you're saying trying to solve it, but there's so many holes in trying to figure out what's the appropriate way, right? And so having obviously the way you guys have Power the Protocol it's definitely the unique kind of aspect to it, because like you're saying, NFTs are going to be coming out. You want much more than just knowing what address is tracking it, right? And if you have it built to set up to where you can actually gain like your algorithmic data from it, from how many times people are listening to your music or sharing your music, or just individual project sales, if they're sales driven, or bet like some of these casinos that are coming out that need to have a data infrastructure for their back end to whatever they do. I mean, I know there's just a lot of infrastructure being built there. I have a friend that he's in one of those projects, and he tells me how much stuff he has to go through. So I know that there's a lot of infrastructure for data security and for also I'd say proper aggregation of that data on a protocol for say, because I mean there's a lot of projects out there already building on say a protocol. You're building an entire protocol around it, which I in turn believe is much more appropriate way, because you're actually at the infrastructure from the maturity level up, and as it scales you're actually able to change and function it on obviously a decentralized way, but in order to accurately drive that data need. I know that from just my work in marketing, that data is like it's like number one. Like I pour through thousands of pages of data daily, and so I think that having a protocol where someone can build and even make data acquisition even easier on top of your guys' protocol is going to be an exciting thing. So that's what I'm saying. How you guys have built something that's more future proof than what a lot of these other data centric projects tried to do or failing to do, because they're stuck on a different node or not node but chain, and they don't have their own infrastructure like you guys have your whole protocol built. So definitely going to be very exciting to see how you guys scale that up.
Well,
you went to talk and you remuted yourself, but
sorry, I was saying thanks so much for that. I was going to point out one more time. I think your mic still might be a little hard for people to hear. I think I'm getting that message, but if that's okay, I wasn't. Would you be
no,
able
it's
to
totally
reach?
fine. It's weird because I'm holding it like right at my face, so I don't understand. Maybe I just wrong angle when I was talking. I don't know. That's weird. You guys can hear me clear right now, right? Though.
Yes, now I can hear you.
All right, that's like 2 inches from my face. That's why. Okay, so yeah, well then, I mean, obviously this is a huge project. There's a lot of information here. This is not just like a 1 or 2 minute white paper. So like I always say, take the time, jump on their socials, jump on their website. They have a little documentation tab at the top. The top right, you click it, and it brings you to a really beautiful, well done introduction to what you can do there, right? And so it just allow you guys to be able to deep dive into what they're building and understand everything that they're releasing and have already released over the last 2 years or 3 years of building. It's insane. I know that definitely it's not some small feat to build what you guys have been building. And like I was saying, if you go and you check out the actual information, their docs, it, it's hard to explain. The details to me make much more the difference than how well it's written sometimes, because you can have a really good white paper that it doesn't make any sense, or you can have a well written one and you don't really enjoy watching it, right? Because it's not a mixture of pictures and what you're writing. What you guys have set out there is not only a good, well written white paper or documentation, but also good diagrams to kind of understand how you guys function in how it all kind of works. And it's really cool. I mean, for aesthetics, I'm always been about that in details. If you take the time and you really spend the details on what you're doing, it's noticeable. So I just wanted to give you guys comment on that too. But believe me,
Thank you, man. I mean,
yeah,
honestly, Anomit, Akshay, Swaroop, Shantanu, our entire team, engineering team, have done such an incredible job of really highlighting everything that they've been building. As you mentioned, yeah, it's been like 2.5 years, 2021. And it's again, the compliments mean the world. It's what's really exciting is more or less kind of like where we right before the new year started and before the holidays kicked off, and right as we were getting into ETH India, we were wrapping up our first, kind of like outwardly and public opportunity for individuals to come and engage with Powerloom. And that opportunity was an incentivized test net that went through CoinList. And so obviously there's a couple of things that many people that have been in the space or in Web3 or in crypto can assume with CoinList and what that means with Powerloom and et cetera, and where we're headed, right? Trajectory. Without giving so much information, we can understand where that could potentially lead us, right? And so that being said, we had over 20,000 participants that were, signed up to be engaged as a node operator, as a snapshotter. And that was something that was, I would say, more like not necessarily pro level crypto user, but like, middle to top tier middle pro user, crypto user rather, that would be able to run and operate a snapshotter based on that incentivized testnet, which again, there was an unbelievable response, over 20,000 people, participants. We have, right now, I think it's like close to 5 or 6,000 people on the waiting list. And so there's a lot to come from outside that incentivized testnet into what's going to be happening here in Q1 of this year, for the public, for normal individuals to participate and engage with. And I would definitely encourage everybody that's in here to follow Powerloom, put your notifications on, because as I mentioned, these next couple of months in this first quarter are going to be very exciting for anyone to be able to engage and participate with us and what we've been building. But that being said, the incentivized testnet was really eye-opening for us, because it gave us a really good understanding as to, okay, cool, we have this many individuals that are able and willing to engage on this actual testnet, and then what does it look like for the future? So that being said, we have something that enables, and based on that testnet, we got some information, right? We were able to understand like the flaws. We were able to understand what was needed. We were able to understand what was lacking. We were able to understand the things that people were having issues with. And I think what we realized, that when we're going into this next, this Q1, and what we're extending out to the masses, will be an opportunity for you to run and operate, a node, a snapshotter, with one click. It should be super simple. It should require zero tech experience. It should require just an opportunity for anyone to be able to operate this at a reasonable cost, right? It shouldn't cost you, as I mentioned, $100,000 or $200,000 to operate a node. It shouldn't cost you 32 ETH to be a validator for, a protocol, and in this case specifically a data layer, which, as we're headed into, the future, as we continue to move and build in this space, we're realizing also that like the information that we're receiving, we don't even know if it's real. We don't know what's real or not real today. And what better application for the Web2 world than blockchain and crypto technology to be able to authenticate provenance and understand that where news or info is coming from is real. It's on chain. It came from a specific place, and you have a project like Powerloom being able to decentralize and validate that information.
Right? No, it's going to be an exciting time, and I definitely see the power. And obviously, there's a lot of people out here that see the power, because 20,000 people into your test net right at the very beginning. I mean, that right there is an impressive feat on its own. Most people have struggled just getting a few hundred people to test their network, and obviously, you guys have been making waves in a different type of sense. Obviously, with like we were saying, that the 2,000 hackers coming in to build on it. I mean, just the sentiment of what you guys are bringing to the table, I think, is showing it in a different aspect than what most people are used to. Because like we're saying, like I was saying earlier, infrastructure is important, and these hackers and builders, everybody that's looking to to join up like that, they get to see the power from the beginning. And then after you continue building, and then you got your testnet users showing, that reception that shows builders are ready. That means community members are ready. So it gives you kind of an overview of how strong you guys' footing is going to be when you're really ready to push it 100% out there. And then 5,000 people plus looking to jump back into it, or when it's open for more people. That's just exciting. It just ultimately, being a tester myself of a lot of early products, and being, it was always exciting for me, and then obviously the builders themselves are always excited. So I just know that it's probably crazy and excitement out there, and you get a little bit more than just, like you're saying, the data and fixing stuff. You kind of really get the I don't know, I can't think of the word, but you just really feels good that everything you've been building actually is being utilized properly. You got people wanting to join it. It's kind of like, you build something, or like the Mona Lisa, right? No one liked it till after he died, kind of type thing. And so,
Yeah, 100%.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, look, to speak on that part too is like the yeah, I tagged up at the very top a couple of photos, and for those of you guys that are listening in, you can go ahead and follow Powerloom right here. But to the point of like, oh, the excitement of builders, we held a little kind of like dev day at ETH India, and it was a side event. So this was before, like, literally the day that I landed in India after a 30-hour flight from LA. At nighttime, we had this amazing ETH Dev Day, kind of like data dev day, at this hotel that was very close to where ETH India was being held. And we had a great, unbelievable turnout for our first ever IRL event. And it just again spoke incredibly highly to what these people, like, what people are wanting to build, like what we're seeing individuals wanting to create, and also what it means for, again, the future of decentralized data and decentralized networks for that matter. Because I think that for quite some time we have steered away from the narrative of like, oh well, why does decentralization matter? Let's extract all of these things and try and make it easy for normies, or whatever you want to call it, in normal people to like participate in Web3. But the reality is like, as we continue to extract these very nuanced and very important things about why we're doing what we're even doing in this space, it starts taking away from the point. It starts going and reverting back to the same old kind of things that we were used to with Web 2. So I think it's inherently going to take some education, no matter what. There once was upon a time where we didn't have credit cards, and we needed to be taught to use a credit card. And the thought of us not being able to pay with cash or whatever was unfathomable for most people. There was a time where people didn't have phones. There was a cell phone switch, telephone switch operator, and they had to like use different cables to connect the actual connection and the call. The idea of having a cell phone is crazy. So why it's difficult for some people today to like think about all these decentralized protocols and these networks is because it's new. We're talking dev talk for most of the time. We're talking very high level language and jargon that most people don't understand, and that's okay. But the thing is we're getting through that, right? We've been building, we've been getting through that, and we're trying to figure out, even with like a thing like data and decentralized data, how can we make this enjoyable for anyone that is interested in crypto, that is interested in Web3, to literally be able to run and operate a node? And so that is our major focus for this year, is how to continue to push and innovate in the ability for anyone to participate, run and operate nodes, and be able to continue to decentralize data for the reasons that I said before. Like, we're headed towards a world where like this information and where that information comes from is important, and being able to get clean from the source data is beyond important.
I totally agree. I totally agree, and that's a sentiment that's carried across. I think not just for the users or the projects, but just the ultimate sentiment in the crypto, right? Is to have accurate data. Like that's kind of something that everybody's all, we need to have real time data. We need to have we need to have this right now or this information right now, and a lot of times those ease of access data requires a big infrastructure data center to have a lot of this fast acquired data to be aggregated. So, I see so much that Powerloom protocol is going to be able to kind of infect in a good way, obviously, but in a way that's going to allow for other areas to kind of streamline and or scale their utility. So it's going to be exciting. But, we've touched on a lot about what builders are doing. Or what you have opportunity for builders there, and obviously the snapshot, type of node running for the more of the community style thing is it's really cool. I just love the fact that you're kind of opening it up and not restricting people to access to technology that would be either, like we were saying earlier, gated by either a high amount of money or an extensive infrastructure on your own to order to operate a high-end computer and or an ACIX or ACI, whatever you say, those ASICs, in order to run
ASIC,
all these
yeah.
algorithms. Yeah, you got all this crazy stuff you got to have in order to even participate in some of the fundamentals behind crypto. So I believe the way you guys setting up, I think is kind of like, in a way, not only great for the builders, but encouraging the investors or the community members to actually join in on that infrastructure level, that kind of tech level that normally you wouldn't be able to. So that's really cool. But going on to that, what have you guys done, or what do you guys have, or what do you guys plan on? Maybe in the future, if you want to touch on some activities or initiatives that you guys plan, campaigns that you plan on to kind of really just drive the community sentiment and investor growth over the next coming months.
Man, you're really trying to pry some alpha out of me, aren't you? No, I mean this is something that, as I kind of was alluding to earlier. Q1 of this year is going to be very exciting for Powerloom, and kind of all really ramped up with this incentivized test net that we just wrapped up, and then of course ETH India. And now that we have finished this incentivized test net, we're going to be gearing up for the next phase. And that next phase, as I mentioned, I would highly encourage everybody that's here to go ahead and hit the jumbotron, follow Powerloom, put your notifications on, because in the next coming weeks, you're going to start seeing a lot of movement as to where we're headed. And there's going to be a great opportunity for anyone and everybody that's in here listening. There's like about 400 of you guys in here listening to participate with what we've been building with Powerloom and decentralized data. And I think, something that's important, and we kind of touched on a little bit, was the ways that people can kind of participate or engage or work with or build with Powerloom. Or, like in this case, the different roles that people can have. So there's, of course, the snapshotters. This is going to be the easiest way for people to engage. There's going to be validators. There's going to be a predefined maximum number of validators. So, of course, this will be responsible for the security of the network. There's going to be curators. Curators will primarily be developers that will be looking for new API endpoints, and they will be using the data provided by the network in their apps. And then there's going to be signalers. So they're basically more or less like analysts that provide insight on emergent data. So these are the different ways that people are going to be able to engage or participate with Powerloom, both as a dev or as a just a contributor, as mentioned, like a snapshot or something like this, a very light touch, but still engaging and able to earn rewards based on the workload, right? So that's going to be the big, like I said, like the big ways that people are going to be able to engage and actually work with us at Powerloom, or build with us. And then, of course, like I said, over the next coming weeks, it's highly encouraged to follow Powerloom and stay on top of what we've got coming up, because we have a huge opportunity for everybody to actually be able to engage with us.
Well, that's awesome. No, that's freaking huge. So, I mean, we've covered a lot. I mean, there's only so much we can really cover without people really, I would say, needing to do their own hands-on type of approach, right? They need to get on there. They need to go to the website. They need to check out your documentation, and then also jump in the community. Start talking to community members. Like you're saying, there's 20,000 test editors. I'm sure there's a few that are roaming around the community saying hi to people. So jump in their socials, ask the questions that either you can't get answered here or that you want. Not a team opinion. Sometimes getting an outside perspective from a community member can really drive your own FOMO into it, because you see their amount of energy coming from when they talk about it. And that's another thing I was talking about, how I love these AMAs, because the energy coming from you, the excitement coming from you, it's been phenomenal. Like, you don't get it too often. You get it a lot, but you don't get that genuine, like, I'm excited. You need to really see what's going on and what we're doing. And over the next few months, there's going to be a huge opportunity for you either to learn, earn, and be a part of the protocol. So I definitely love that full aspect there, that you guys are kind of pushing for your community. It's a big centric company that's got all this data and it's infrastructure, but really you're all the way down to the community members, and really, looking forward to what you can bring to them. So it's really exciting, to have that, level of passion. So with that said, if you have any last minute thing you want to touch on, anything that we might have not have covered or we might have missed other than what we have, and then if not, we'll jump into maybe some community questions and see what the community sentiment feels like.
I mean, honestly, follow Powerloom. Follow, if you care to follow myself. I'll be obviously retweeting and keeping up to date with everybody on everything that we're building, and being able to also give good insight. But please follow Powerloom. We have, as I mentioned, just a very exciting Q1. If those of you guys that are going to be around at ETH Denver, we will be there. We're going to be hosting a fantastic kind of data lounge, which we're going to be enabling different builders and developers to come through, do micro bounties, build on our protocol, have a couple of podcasts, have conversations, music, drinks, and enjoy a good time with some incredible people during ETH Denver. So if you guys are going to be there, please make sure to say hello, come through. Make sure you find Powerloom events on anything Luma or any of the Partiful, any of the different ways to be able to RSVP. And I look forward to hearing these next questions. Let's get into it.
All right. So I'm gonna read one off from our that's been in our comments, and then from there, then I'll pick some random up, and we'll just kind of just jump back and forth. So the first one was, what qualifiers are needed to be a validator, not the snapshot, but the actual validator, or not the that I know that you're having a limited amount of validators, so I don't know if you guys had like an application, or you guys doing that in house, or was there a type of validation that's because you said there's three different. There's the signaler, there's the snapshot. Like, what are the requirements? I know we talked about the snapshot, all the way down to a phone. But what about the signaler? Can you do the same thing? The requirements are similar.
So yeah, so there's going to be different types of requirements for each different role, and some of these roles are kind of based on rewards, or like a future. I mean, I don't want to say a future token, but based on the actual token. And so there's going to be some interesting incentives. Again, we really need to make it accessible for, it can't be 32 ETH, right? It can't be $200,000 to run a validator. So we are still in the process. That's a little bit more in the future. That's kind of why we're bootstrapping everything as such, where we're giving first and foremost the light the lightest opportunity, which is our snapshotters, to be able to engage. Right now, there isn't a hard cap on that number yet. We are going to be opening up things in tiers for the snapshotter, and that again will be happening very soon. And I'm giving a little too much info, but I'm trying to restrain myself because there's a lot that's coming here, and I guess again in the next coming weeks. And that being said, there isn't any restriction on at the moment for the snapshotters, but yes, there are various different requirements for the roles, and as we continue to open them up, they will be available for people to be able to participate.
No, that's awesome. I love it. And I don't mean to pry too much alpha out of you. I just know that when they go to the documents, they are, greeted with that first thing, become a builder, a snapshot and stuff. So one of the very first comments that were in the comments was, how do I become one? So definitely got community members excited about what the requirements are or what they need to do to be able to join and participate in this. So it's definitely exciting news overall. So
thanks. Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you, brother. And I think the requirement here is you have a laptop, you have MetaMask or any kind of wallet, and you have internet connection, and you should be able to, and the ability to, have a web app. You should be able to run these nodes very easily. And again, the idea is to make it one click, boom, you're able to operate, and then done. So hopefully, it's as seamless for everybody as I'm mentioning. And I think that, the biggest thing here is that we're enabling people to participate in hopefully this easy way.
That's awesome. All right, Christmas, I just pulled you up. I loved your PFP and the name. So go ahead with your question. Let's make it a good one. And guys, let's get some really good questions. They have some really in-depth information in there. I know you guys have been researching it. I've already seen a lot of good questions. So let's keep them really good and professional. Really love it, though. Go ahead, Christmas, whenever you're ready.
Also, I just wanted to note before Christmas you come up, Amit, our co-founder, he actually happens to be here, who's our CTO, and he may be able to answer. So if you guys want to bring him up, there may be an opportunity for him to answer some more technical questions. He's down there, Amit. He's got a little Powerloom badge on there. But if you guys see him, bring him up. Otherwise, go ahead, Christmas.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So my question is, most of the questions people ask in the AMA sections are about the strength and progress of the project. So on the contrary, I'm interested in knowing about the challenges. So what were the challenges and difficulties your team faced by developing the project, and how were they able to handle them?
I love that question so much, man. Thank you so very much for asking that. Well, first and foremost, I would not be the best person to answer that question simply because I have not been the dev or the team building this, but I can definitely speak for the sheer difficulty of just building decentralized networks. It is not easy. And also, first and foremost, not easy in that capacity, in that it's a decentralized network, and being able to get consensus and think about not just this, but security, think about how this is also going to be easy for people to operate, right? Because we're already on an uphill battle with being in Web3 and working with crypto. For the layman person, even just operating and using a wallet is incredibly difficult to even get that concept right. So, it's inherently already, challenging in this regard. But outside of that, just making sure that we're building things altruistically in the context that like it should be available for people to utilize, for anyone to be able to utilize. And so the challenges are making a protocol seamless enough, easy enough, and transparent, decentralized, secure, all the things that you would think that it would take to require to make this thing happen. Has honestly been a challenge. It's not been an easy thing, but I think for Anumit, Akshay, Swaroop, Shantanu, all of our developers, Matt, they have been doing such an incredible job of problem solving and also finding the joy in getting those problems solved, because at the end of the day, it's like we're working with emerging technology, we're working with new tech, we're working with things that a lot of times all of us, this is very, very new for all of us, right? So like it's not easy, but with time and with a lot of experience that these individuals have in building projects, with developing, with engineering, we've been able to create something of substance and something that we're really proud of, something that we're excited to launch to the public here very soon. So I will say in general, I mean, it's a very broad statement, Christmas, but in general, the whole project, and we're talking about data, so it is very, intricate. It has been difficult, but exciting.
All right, that's great. That's great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the question, man. Appreciate it. I'm gonna get another one up right now.
Hey, and I guess Anamit has been um, requesting to speak. So if you guys want to bring him up or let him up, he can talk.
Yeah, because it's funny. I don't have him requesting. That's weird. Because I was looking. I even looked for his name and I couldn't find him in the search. It wouldn't let me go past like the like 100 that we have in the front right there.
Can you make me a co-host, Miners, and I can ask him.
Let's see.
Hello, guys. Can I ask my question?
Yes,
Of
absolutely.
course. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to ask, as a developer, what what incubation or what assistance does Powerloom offers to developers that would like to work with their chain, and what encouragement to incentivize them to join them? Thank you.
Oh, I love that question as well. I think two fantastic questions. I wish Anamit, if he was able to come up, he would be more than happy to answer this in the best way. But I'll give you a kind of couple things. One, please do DM us at Powerloom, and DM me, DM Anomit, any of us, for any kind of like support or anything, for if you have interest in what we're doing and would like to learn more, please by all means hit us up. But first and foremost, what we did at ETH India this year rather, was our first IRL data day to give everybody insight into our documentation, and to how they can effectively build with our protocol. Second to that, over the last couple of years, I know that Anomit and Swaroop have also hosted several different cohorts for developers and builders to be able to kind of engage with what they've been building. So I would suggest at the moment, as I mentioned, we have these next coming weeks some really exciting things that will enable anyone to kind of participate with us. But then also simultaneously, IMBM, I think it will be great for you to reach out to us to learn a little bit about what your interests are, and that way we can help facilitate, where to point you when it comes to building or creating anything with Powerloom.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I was having trouble getting off mute for some reason. I was like lagged out for a second there. But yeah, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Good answer. I got the next person I just approved. Let's hope it brings them up. Orthodox, whenever you're ready, go up with your question. I keep looking for Amit, and I can't find him. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just.
I think Yeah, I think he might be on his computer, and he was trying on his computer, but I let him know that
Okay.
we let him know that he's got to try it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, how you doing, Orthodox?
Yeah, I'm doing very fine, and I'm glad to be part of this. Very, very exciting. Okay, so I was part.
Thank you so much, man.
I've been part of the Powerloom community for a while now. I think I participated in the incentivized testnet, and the support was massive. Was a whole lot. I mean, Swaroop and the moderators there were really, really supportive, especially when I particularly had some issues like that, trying to do CoinList KYC and all that. So Honestly, I am already pumped up for this project. And listening to you guys talk about it again, I was like, wow, thank God I didn't miss out because of that KYC thing. And I was able to scale through. So, really, really excited about the information I'm getting to hear now. My question is, with regards to this project as layer, right? I was thinking, what is the difference between this project and Celestia, for example? Because I wanted to find out what is he offering as, what's the unique thing about this project with regards to the other data layers that I think I knew about, decentralized data layers that I knew about, like we know about the one which is Celestia presently. I don't know if I'm correct. So that's one. What is the unique thing about Powerloom with regards to that? And then secondly, you talked about this first quarter exciting thing, and of course, one of them is the snapshotter stuff. Are there other opportunities that will be opened to other participants? Because several persons that we wanted to bring them up had issues with CoinList KYC, and so they couldn't really participate. So I'm thinking, though I have a little community of about 500 persons, that I wanted to share this opportunity to them, like, oh, hey, Powerloom is back. You guys can be able to participate and all that. So I want to find out if something like that is up for normal users out there that couldn't participate in the incentivized testnet.
Okay, I will go on with the second question, and I'll let Anamit answer you about Celestia. Orthodox, you, as far as what you were talking about with the KYC and all of that, and your community that you would love to have participate in this upcoming thing, but weren't able to participate due to KYC. Let's just say that what's coming up in this coming weeks, months or so, will enable you to have an opportunity for anybody to engage and participate. So this will be important because we do know that there was a little bit of a barrier there. And as I mentioned, with the incentivized testnet, there were reasons for that. And of course, in this capacity and what we're doing, since this will be our operation, and of course toward the bootstrapping of our network, we will enable it for anybody to be able to participate. So hopefully that answers that question. And then Anomit, sir, good to have you up here.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Just let me know.
Perfectly.
Awesome. All right. So can I have a repeat of the first part of the question? I think it was about Celestia, right? So
Yeah, he was asking
yeah,
what is
that
the big
was.
difference between Celestia and
Yeah.
Powerloom?
I'm glad that question actually got asked because I realized there has been, a lot of innovation going on around the topic of data availability. The idea of Celestia and other such modular chains who help with data availability, the way they work is essentially making the data that is carried in a lot of transactions that the roll-ups usually had to commit as like giant blobs to the layer ones like Ethereum, and they would incur a lot of costs, not to mention like proving charges, etc. So modular chains like Celestia make it easier on such roll-ups, so that you can be actually guaranteed that your transaction data will continue to be available on a platform that guarantees its proofs, while you completely reduce the state load that comes with running a chain for a long time. I mean, you would know that if you want to sync up a Ethereum full node, like archive node, it takes like a huge amount of data in terabytes, for example, right? So with chains like L2s, where we do a high volume of transaction, that becomes like very cumbersome. So that's Celestia in short. What we are is not just data. I would rather say this is to do more with your specific information needs for your data products. So if you're building dashboards, if you're building a bot, depending on your functionality, actually your data structures, your events, that things that you're interested in, they change. And what we offer is essentially for you to very flexibly configure the kind of data points you want, And then from there on, like, there is a army of peers that basically set in on the task and start serving you data points that are composed, data points that are aggregated according to the specifications you provide. So the difference over there here is that we are specifically tailored for your data products needs that run on top of Web3 applications. Data availability solutions like Celestia, they deal with the lower level nuts and bolts nitty-gritties of making sure that your transaction data, your state data stays guaranteed and available on a different platform, but guaranteed with proofs. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, a whole lot. And thank you for, breaking it down that way. I think I'm able to clarify now. Before now, it's a bit difficult for me to be able to, trying to figure out what's actually happening, even though I knew that this is going to be innovative in the space, but I couldn't really differentiate. But thank you so much for, clarifying. Thank you.
Glad
And
to help.
also, and Amit, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, Celestia, for all intents and purposes, could potentially also utilize Powerloom itself, right?
Theoretically, yeah. I mean, but yeah, like we can have a whole different technical discussion on it someday, right? Like there are a lot of specificities that they could use ideally for Powloom, but people have been working on their solutions as well for quite a while. Theoretically, a lot of things are plug and play composable in Web3. Yeah.
Well, man, I love that question. Orthodox. Thank you. That was like a two-parter for me on how you have a really great question, and then you also have a really great community member that's already in love with your guys' product, coming on and telling everybody, hey, you know, I've been utilizing it and it's been awesome. Go check it out. That kind of whole sentiment that he brought right in the beginning, I was loving it because, it just shows that even though you guys are building, you're doing stuff, your community is excited. They're following along, they're coming in and asking questions that sometimes they probably can't get answered in the community. So they're like, I'm going to go out there and try to tackle it. So it's just really cool, the drive that your community member has brought right there. It's just really great sentiment. It really puts a smile on my face to see community members engaging with their projects. It really is the whole aspect of why we're here, right? We're building not for us, the builders, the creator. Obviously, they want to build something for themselves to utilize out there, but they envision something that is needed for the community as a whole. So, and I definitely see that Powerloom, like we were just saying, Powerloom's, like I was saying earlier, you're going to infect a lot of projects, a lot of other chains, a lot of other stuff, because you're building not only powerful utilities, but you're building it correctly. There's a lot of people out there that rushed, I believe, in what they were building because they thought that was the way. And I think that you guys kind of taking your time, building it correctly, and seeing the way the data is actually needed to be utilized, just overall in the space is huge. So with that saying, though, we had our community questions. We had a whole hour now of discussion. We talked about everything. I've even pulled a lot of alpha out of you that even some of my community members did a little bit. So it's really awesome to have that. But I always like to give a last minute, call to action or anything you'd like to say to the community before we close things out and before I do my closing statement.
No, I mean, honestly, thank you guys so very much, crypto miners, yourself, everybody that was here listening, all the questions. We really appreciate all of you taking the time out of your day to spend with us this morning or night or evening, wherever you are on the planet. Just go ahead and follow Powerloom on X. We have a lot of incredible, our website is powerloom.io. We have an incredible set of documentation for builders and developers there for you guys to take a look and see how you can effectively utilize our protocol. Again, please stay on the lookout for what's happening in the next coming weeks with us at Powerloom. And I really look forward to the next time to speak with you guys and give you guys progress.
100%. I really do appreciate the time. Yes, that's a great way to close things out. Jump in their socials, follow along. Like he was saying, if you are interested, you are looking for opportunities to earn with Powerloom, you better have those notifications on because people that have been building since 2021 all the way to now, and they're ready to explode. You want to see what they're are willing to bring to the table because 2.5 years of building, close to 3 years of building is no small feat on its own. And if you take the time and you go through their website, you will see that the attention to details, like I said earlier, is amazing. So with that said, crypto miners, I will say that our community of the crypto miners, we're mind blown on the level of detail, the level of infrastructure you guys are building, and the professionalism you guys are bringing to the table is obviously none to take light overall. So it's a huge thanks to the Powerloom team. Ahmed, thank you for coming up at the end and giving us insight on that powerful question there. That just overall was just a really great takeaway for especially for the community, being able to see one of the other core team members come on, the CTO, and the person that is controlling the tech behind the business, right? So it's really cool. So I really do appreciate you guys dropping their knowledge on us, giving us a good opening eyes on how decentralized data is going to be a pivotal I would say infrastructure utility that community members, investors, they probably won't even notice they're utilizing you guys in the background. So I can just tell that you guys are set the standard for data centric, but also for data accuracy, because that's another thing out there. The fully decentralized level is needed, especially in data. So I really do appreciate you guys coming on and telling us about the project, telling us everything about what you guys have been building. But on top of that, the excitement of what you guys are about to be releasing is really truly exciting in my point. So I'm going to be turning my notifications on. So please, as you guys are exploding, as you guys are scaling, and you guys want to keep us updated, we would appreciate it so I can keep my community updated. And with that said, crypto miners, you guys have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for your time. See you.